Well, good morning and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. We're certainly glad to have everyone viewing today, and special thanks to BTC Fiber for hosting our program. And today we have with us Tanya Richardson from Legal Aid of East Tennessee. And Tanya, it's good to have you today, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
And Tanya, one of the first things I wanted to ask you, so that people would be familiar with your program, is what is it that you do? I mean, what exactly does your program do, and how does it serve the citizens of the area?
So Legal Aid of East Tennessee is a nonprofit law firm. We provide civil legal services to individuals who qualify for our services. There's a big difference between criminal work and civil work. When it comes to criminal work, usually an attorney can be appointed. You have that right. But when we get into civil situations, you're kind of on your own, or you need to pay for an attorney.
Uh-huh.
And some of our civil matters tend to be more life-sustaining
Uh-huh.
and important, and if you don't know the law, it's very difficult to navigate the courts and get the results that you're needing on your own. And so that's where legal aid comes in. We provide legal services for individuals who qualify financially. We provide civil legal services for individuals 60 and older, and not necessarily dependent on income for that group. And then we provide legal assistance for domestic violence situations, orders of protection, and so forth.
Oh, so you're helpful in a lot of ways, really.
Yeah.
And I guess primarily, like you said, some of the qualifications. One was the age.
Yes.
And are there other qualifications you mentioned?
Yes, there are. To qualify, you need to qualify financially. And so when you call in to get some help with legal aid, you will probably speak with an intake paralegal. They'll be able to assess your income for your household, and they'll be able to determine whether or not you qualify for services.
Oh, okay.
60 and older, that's not dependent on your income. And then for domestic violence, again, not dependent on income.
Well, I know a lot of people sometimes think they know the law, but they really don't know all the ins and outs of the law, and that's where you can come in and help, right?
Yes, yes.
I mean, because a lot of people, just in, like you said, in some of your cases, may not know all that they need to do or all the results they could get.
Right. We've had some interesting things occur where we've been able to assist with appeals where people have represented themselves. Even just the essence of how to respond to questions or lack of response has certain meanings. There are certain rules in court that just kind of default one way or the other. If you don't know those ins and outs, you may get yourself into a little bit of a predicament unknowingly, and that's the importance. It's really, when it comes down to getting help legally, you've got someone who's well trained in the law.
Right.
Okay, and if you're able to afford that, great. If you're not, that's where you're kind of up a creek a little bit.
Uh-huh.
That champion, so to speak, of the law goes up against another champion of the law, and together they argue and they weigh out the evidence of the situation to see if it's valid evidence or not. And in the end, what's supposed to happen is the truth emerges, and then a judgment can be made. And so, not understanding how to present the evidence and make sure that it's good, solid evidence, that's where a lot of people run into issues.
Well, what all are some of the areas that you cover? Your office is in Chattanooga, correct?
Yes, we're all of East Tennessee. I believe 28 counties last time I counted. I could be off a little bit, but I think it's 28. And for this area, it's the Chattanooga office that you would contact. And the types of law that we practice, here's a little bit of the challenge that we face. First off, we don't have enough resources to cover the number of individuals needing legal assistance. The studies that we have suggest that we are only able to help about 17 to 20% of individuals who qualify for our services. And so that puts us into a really tricky spot, because what our vision is that no one faces a legal problem alone. And that's so hard to do right now. That's our goal, that's what we're aiming for. So we have to find creative ways to be able to reach as many people as we possibly can. So in that situation, and given the caseload, we have to select and be very picky about what we can take on for representation. We do and are able to give a lot of advice. We're able to help people, give them enough information that they can represent themselves. And then we have a great selection of pamphlets or brochures that you can pick up at the courthouse, you can pick up at our offices. You can also check our website online to get basic legal information that applies to individuals living in the state of Tennessee. So given that challenge, then we look at the types of legal problems that we can assist with. We always look at our priorities being things that help sustain basic necessities of life. Right now, housing is a really big one.
I'm sure it is.
Orders of protection is right on top. We get into helping people with benefits that they qualify for and helping them maintain them if they're being denied. And then we get into a lot of consumer fraud type situations too. With the pandemic right now, housing is a big thing. Yes. And it's more complicated because we have a lot of moratoriums in place, things that you can and can't do, but they're still very broad for interpretation. Right. And so those are trying to work their way through the court system and new rules forming and this sort of thing that kind of shape how judges and counties are responding to this, because it's a crisis right now.
Yeah, and you don't want anybody left homeless.
Oh, no.
And I know that's been a big thing with rent and mortgages and things like that. And
yeah.
So it's been tough.
It has been very tough.
And now, excuse me, you said you don't do the criminal cases. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Or is there any other area that you do not do?
We do not do anything that would be considered fee generating. And what that means is in a situation where someone generates a fee at the end of their court processes, typically there's money in that to pay an attorney. So situations like probate tend to be fee generating. Personal injury tend to be fee generating. Something that's going to end up with a lump of a lump sum at the end of the hearing, then or when the judgment is made, then that can be dispersed to help pay for legal costs.
Well, if that were the case, where y'all were doing that, then everybody would want to come to y'all instead of an attorney.
Right.
And so, that's not the way your program set up.
No, it's not.
It's basically to help, I hate to use the phrase helpless, but it's for those that need the help.
Yeah. And we do get people, and a lot of people when they call in, Some are upset that they don't qualify, and they're feeling like, I can't even make my day-to-day expenses, and how can I not qualify? And we understand that, and we have compassion toward that. But it's even more poor or dire situations that we're assisting with, who need the help. We are always a great source to call, and we will have callers say, I'm so sorry, they feel embarrassed that they thought maybe they would qualify, but we remind them, hey, we are a great place to start, and we can point you in directions where to go. So it's never a wasted call to call legal aid and to see if we can assist in any way, because we can at least get you pointed in the right direction.
So even if you can't help personally, you can get them pointed towards the right way.
Yes.
Well, that's good to know, because now, how do people get in touch with you if they need your services?
Well, we've got some different sources. We are on social media, Facebook, Twitter. You can follow us there. We have a website, www.laet.org, and we've got a large number of our brochures on the website there. So that's a great place to go and get started and kind of browse through and see if you have some brochures match the kind of struggles that you're dealing with. Get some basic information there. I recommend to anyone, when we're doing outreach, to, if they're renting, always take a look at our renting brochures, because there's some great information there, and housing just seems to be a struggle that a lot of people deal with, and there's some good information in there to protect yourself. And then, of course, the last place would be to call us. And I don't have that number on me right now, but we can get you that number.
Okay.
But we welcome phone calls.
Well, I know probably housing is probably a big thing, because there's a lot, when you enter into rental agreements, there's a lot of little fine lines that everybody, if you're like me, sometimes you just go ahead and agree and sign, and then you go, uh-oh.
Right. And, our housing, our renting brochures, kind of take you step by step through the process of making sure that, you've got certain things in your contract, that you have a contract. That is essential when you are having a rental issue, you're needing some legal assistance. You've got to have that contract, because in that contract spells out the terms that you agreed to.
Right.
And so the contract is important. So always keep a copy of that contract. Get a copy of that contract. Keep it. And then, there are things that vary from county to county as well. So it's not completely cut and dry. When Hamilton County, Bradley County, some of the bigger counties are covered by the Landlord-Tenant Act, and we have a brochure specifically for that. The smaller, more rural counties are covered by our brochure that says common law. And it's a little more open-ended agreement. And maybe not open-ended is probably not the best choice of words, but the laws are different between common law and landlord-tenant. The counties up in this area here would probably be considered common law. So that's the brochure that you'll want to look for.
I know right now seems like I've seen several people asking for places to rent, and trying to find places.
Yeah, I am aware in our counties, Bradley and north up that direction, even Chattanooga, Hamilton County, there is a bit of a housing shortage. Homes are selling very quickly. It's hard to find homes to rent. And of course, with the tornado that we had go through Chattanooga, and we've got a lot of people in temporary living, going even further than just finding another home to rent while theirs is being rebuilt. They're having to go to Airbnbs. They're having to go to hotels, and a lot of creativity there just because there is such a shortage.
Right. So that's been a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hate that, but that's just kind of the way it is right now.
It is.
And with the pandemic and everything going on, and then we probably have people that from the hurricane areas that have moved up here. Some, we've had that in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're probably looking as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no doubt.
Well, other than what about health issues, like the benefits, if say a disability, for example, do y'all help with that? So.
We do, and when we get into a disability and applying for benefits for the first time, typically those are considered fee generating. But you can call us and we can get you a list of attorneys. We can't refer to specific attorneys, but we do have a list of attorneys that practice specifically in Social Security benefits and so forth. So getting onto the benefits for the first time, we can't help. If you are receiving benefits and you've had a denial letter show up, then that's when you want to give us a call, because we can look over and our attorneys can advise, they can direct, they can assist in helping you maintain those benefits if they're still available to you.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yes.
That's good to know, because
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of people here on disability,
Yeah.
and it would be terrible if they got denied.
Right. And it happens. Sometimes they just come up for review after a certain period of time, and they're pretty straightforward. But if your medical records aren't in order, or if you're missing something, that's typically when you'll get a denial, and that's usually when we're called, and that's when we get started putting all the puzzle pieces back together. What were we missing, and then moving forward with help in navigating that process.
So kind of like medical insurance, when they deny something, they don't have all their information.
Very
usually
frequently.
A doctor has to submit something else, paperwork or whatever.
Yeah, very frequently. And then circumstances may change too.
And y'all never, of course, y'all never charge for your services, right?
No. Our attorneys offer their assistance at no charge to our clients. Where there may be fees is in filing with the court, any court fees, anything else required by the courts. We have no way to cover those costs, but the most significant cost typically is attorney's fees, and those are given at no charge to our clients who qualify.
Do you have several attorneys who work in your office, or is it a volunteer? Do they volunteer, or are they through the state, or how does that program work?
So we have a certain number of in-house attorneys with a variety of specialties, all the way up east, all the way down, and so we network really well between areas. But if we do not have an attorney in-house, we have what is called the Pro Bono Project. And that's where I work, is with the Pro Bono Project. And what we do is we work with volunteer attorneys in different communities that are willing to give their time to assist eligible clients through legal aid. And so if we don't have someone in-house who can help, we get you into that pro bono program, and then we work from there to try and find an attorney who can assist. Unfortunately, it takes a while. It's not, and most things when you're dealing with the law, they move slowly.
Yes, they do.
which is so frustrating, and when so much is at stake, especially your housing and your health and your family and so forth. But these things take time. With attorneys volunteering their time in the community, it takes a while for them to work through cases. When they have another opening, they'll let us know, they'll accept a case, and so that's how that process works. And so we work really hard to get those placed as quickly as we can, but bear in mind that we're working with trying
Right,
to get some turnover as well. So
Well, and that's understandable, and it just takes time. Anything
It does.
takes time, really.
yes,
And,
yes, we're right now preparing for our Pro Bono Celebration Community Justice Chattanooga area. This will be airing this Thursday.
Oh,
In the evening, you can check out our Facebook for the links to that. But we are celebrating our pro bono attorneys, our volunteers in the community, and there will be several awards presented. And it really is an inspiration to hear about the type of work these people have dedicated their lives to. You know, assisting people with the law, but the work that they do for the people in our community who are really struggling financially is just phenomenal and inspiring.
well, they need to be recognized for their service.
No doubt. We've got amazing people living in East Tennessee who have wonderful hearts and who work hard.
Well, I'm sure a lot of times I know attorneys get a bad rep a lot of times, but all the ones that I know here, especially locally, are really good people, and they help out every chance they get.
Yes.
For whatever.
Yes, and that's definitely the case in our other communities as well. Just really wonderful people.
So y'all stay pretty busy with all those counties involved then.
We do. We have several locations throughout, from Chattanooga, the bottom of our East Tennessee, to the tippy top at Johnson City. So
a long way.
yes, it is. I think there may be a county or two in this area that fall into Middle Tennessee, the Cumberlands.
Uh-huh.
They have a number, and we all work fairly similarly in our processes. You go through the intake process, etc. So I know for Middle Tennessee, there's a great group of people who can assist as well.
And this is all run through the state, correct?
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, we are nonprofit. We do get some funding from the federal government, but we are supported by the public.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good to
yes. We have grants that we apply for.
Oh, okay.
We part of our pro bono celebration is a fundraiser.
Oh, okay.
And so we are working on raising funds as well
Yeah.
for 2021. Again, if there's anyone who would like to donate to our cause, you can go to our website, and we've
Okay.
got a lot of different links that can get you in touch with how to participate with our event, as well as just donating. I always appreciate a donation, no matter how small it is. We know that it's from the heart.
Right.
All of the work we do is from the heart, really. And so again, anything that someone would like to share with us, we would be ever so grateful for.
Well, that's great. Well, Tanya, it's about time for us to finish. Is there any closing comments you'd like to make before we end?
Well, it's been so fun to visit with you. I just would like to maybe put out there, if you have any legal issues that you're struggling with, you're not sure whether you qualify, or you think maybe you won't, just give us a call. We can certainly get you pointed in the right direction if we're not able to assist. And we're very happy to assist.
Well, good. That's great. Well, folks, thanks for watching today. Remember, you can see this interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page, as well as Channel 18 on the cable channel. And we appreciate you watching and being here, and appreciate Tanya for being with us. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you so much for having me.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Sequatchie Valley.